Hi,
Let's do this thing.
everyone. Welcome to Travel Talk Tuesday. I am Lainey Melnick with Dream Vacations, and I'm here with the expert, Charlie the Traveler, so we can talk travel today. What's
Let's get
our
this
subject
moving.
today, Charlie?
Sicily.
Sicily. I know I said I wanted to do all of Italy, and Charlie keeps insisting that it's only going to be Sicily. So, so we will focus on Sicily.
Well, I could tell you that from the 94 countries I've been to, I don't think there's any country that has more places to visit that you have to visit than Italy. Even with
That's
notwithstanding
true.
the fact that it's a very small country, just in terms of landmass, if you just wrote down on a piece of paper all the places that you just absolutely have to see, no country will come close to theirs. So Sicily is a 30 to 1 hour show on it unto itself.
That is very true. And I've been to many parts of Italy, Puglia and Umbria and Florence and Rome and on the Amalfi Coast, Lake Como. We could probably do a show on each of the different areas. I think you might need to close your window if you have a window open for Facebook or something else.
Okay, I'll have one of my. I don't know how that's happening. Why? So you
Yeah,
can't see me? Is that it?
no, it's the echo. I hear the echo on your side.
Ah,
Um,
like I did with you last week.
Yeah, exactly. So while Charlie's trying to figure out how to close his window, I wanted to let everybody know that we are going to do a giveaway today. So I am giving away a $50 credit towards any Charlie the Traveler new tour that you book through my agency, which is Dream Vacations, Laney Melnick and Associates in Austin, Texas. You can also scan my QR code up at the top and enter into my monthly, or I'm sorry, my quarterly sweepstakes. I'm giving away an Azamara cruise this quarter. So you can do a Greek intensive cruise, you can do an Italy intensive cruise with Azamara. So please scan the QR code and enter to win. To win our giveaway, though, you need to make a comment. So when you're making a comment, do a hashtag Travel Talk Tuesday, no spaces, and we will then do the giveaway at the end of the show.
That sounds beautiful.
All right, now to you, Charlie. So, Sicily is important to you personally, correct?
I'm half Sicilian, and I have family there, and my company operates there. So yeah, there's reasons why I love the island so much.
So, I'm a film producer, so I love it because it is an amazing film location. Um, Godfather was filmed there lately. Oh my gosh, what was the name of that show? Now I have to look it up. There was a new show recently that was at the Four Seasons, Terramino. Hold on, I know I have it here. What's it called? The White Lotus season two. So they filmed that at the Four Seasons Terramino, and a lot of people watch these shows, and that is why they want to go to these places. They're very inspired by movies and television. Hi, Natalie, by the way, I see your comment.
There's a lot of reasons why to go to Sicily. They've definitely got beautiful towns. They got some great archaeological sites. The beaches are incredible. Um, nature's good. The food's good. The people are nice. So it's one of those places that just checks off most of the boxes when you decide where you want to visit. Sicily has the whole 9 yards.
So it isn't the flattest of locations. There are lots of hills and stairs. So how would you say they do with mobility issues rather apart from the rest of Italy?
There's a lot of walking on Sicily Island. A lot of the towns, like you said, are kind of perched up high, and even like Tormina, you just mentioned it because there's movies that were filmed in and near there. There's a hilltop village just right above Tormina, and there's some walking involved to get up there. I mean, you take a car, but that only goes so far before you have to park it then you got to walk up a little bit more. So we do have some customers coming up. One of them needs a wheelchair, and what we're doing for them is just providing it in the case that her leg starts hurting her. But if you're someone who needs the wheelchair all the time, Sicily will be more difficult. But if it's one of those things where you just may need some assistance here and there, bring the wheelchair in the car, and you'll be fine.
Okay, that's good to know. And again, as we talked about Greece last week, a lot of people think that it's a year-round beach destination, and that is not the case. What would you say is the best months to go for the best weather?
April through October are the seasons when the weather's at its best. May and June are really good. September, October are really good. If you want to go when there's lots of festivities and people, July and especially August would be those months. But unsurprisingly, that's also when the car rental and hotel prices are at their highest. They go hand in hand.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So generally
Do you
speaking,
want
tell me.
go ahead. No, I was just going to ask if you wanted to go over your itinerary that you offer for Sicily.
Yeah. We'll definitely cover that right now. Turn this little thing off here. Thank
I
you.
was going to say we should put do not disturbs on. I totally forgot on mine.
Um, yeah, so April through October, the season. There's something I did want to mention about that. So usually when you have so many people packed into a place, most of us just say, okay, we want to avoid that sort of thing. There's an exception to the rule with Sicily, and especially around the 14th, 15th, 16th of August. I've been during that specific period as well as other months. And while it is packed, it's also at its most authentic. It's one of their biggest holidays. And every village you can go to, even ones that are usually off the beaten path, are full with people and music and restaurants and just everything that you'd want to see out of a Mediterranean island. Even at 3:30 in the morning, you'll see 90-year-old grandmothers playing with their 5-year-old grandchildren. And these guys don't really miss a second to enjoy their lives. They really don't miss an opportunity. And you'll see that if it's at its most authentic during July and especially August.
I would say that's really similar to the rest of Italy as well. I think the culture of Italy and why people just love going there is the people. They really are just genuinely happy with their lives and enjoying food, like and the environment. They really enjoy their lives.
They don't lose a moment of opportunity to enjoy it. That's for sure.
Mhm.
It's something we can all
So
learn
getting back
from.
to what you do for Sicily, what is it that you offer? Sicily is actually a very unusual destination for people to have a real tour. Sometimes there's a cruise stops there, you have one day to see it. Sometimes people fly there and just stay in a hotel. But what you do is really more comprehensive.
Yeah. I mean, there's people that want to do it on their own. And for those, they could use trains, buses, and car rentals. They'll need a combination of all three. And there's others that just say, look, we want it given to us on a silver platter. We want to see and do it all. We don't want to stress about it. And from the beginning until the end, we just want to know what time to be in the lobby. And you do everything else. And that's what we do. So we provide a private vehicle with a licensed English-speaking escort driver, and you're taken around the entire island covering all the highlights. We have like a classic tour that's for 7 days. It obviously won't cover all the important things. We then have the 12-day grand tour, which does pretty much cover all the highlights. So I've been to almost 40 different places on Sicily Island. I've been there many times. And what I've done was handpick the ones that I think are most important for people to visit.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons why I love using you is because you pick destinations that are not the easiest for people to do on their own. And you provide this amazing opportunity to save money with these group tours, but yet it can be customized. So you can still start any day you want to and still get the value of having group tours, which other people just can't do. It's amazing that you are able to offer that.
April through October, you start whenever you like. Other than during COVID years ago, we've absolutely never canceled on customers. We've never had some issue of low turnouts or something else. Before COVID and since COVID, never once canceled on anybody.
Yeah, that's fabulous. And I think both of
Yeah,
us were very lucky that we survived through COVID. It was a very difficult time for our industry. And because my agency is very involved with the internet and computers and my YouTube channel, it actually was very good for my business because people started to really like watching my videos. So that helps a lot.
yeah. And I'm lucky to have found you. For people who visit Sicily and they want to do it right, if they have a couple of weeks, what I recommend they do is fly into Trapani, Trapani, and they fly out of the capital of the island, Palermo. Logistically, you're better off doing that than just flying into and out of Palermo. Because it's from Trapani, you can make a day trip by boat to the Egadi Islands. Surprisingly, not too many Americans know of that place. Do you know about the Egadi Islands?
No.
Yeah, almost nobody does. So you're definitely not alone with that one. They're incredibly picturesque. I mean, these are like postcard type of places where the rock formations are really unique and the water is just so clear. So Europeans generally, especially Italians, even from the north, if you talk to them about the Egadi Islands, they're going to know them very well. They love to go there for vacation. So on our tour, we use it as a day trip from Trapani. Again, the place where I'm recommending people start a grand tour to Sicily Island.
We have a question from the audience. Natalie asked about how many days. Do you want to answer that?
So if you only have 7 days, 6 nights, then there's a classic tour that we do. And then for people who say, no, I really want to see Sicily right, I'm only going to do it once in my life, let's say, it takes 12 days. And 12 days includes the day that you physically arrive and the day that you leave. So in the 12 days also include...
Go ahead.
The 12 days includes the small little islands off the sides of Sicily. So I just mentioned the Egadi Islands on the western side, but then you also have the Aeolian Islands on the eastern side. There's 7 islands on the northeast side, just right above Sicily. So to cover all of that, you need about 12 days.
And I think most Americans do not understand this. I often get asked to just add onto an Italy trip a few days stop in Sicily. So what would you say to somebody who just wants a 3-night stay, just a quick in and out, maybe go to the Four Seasons?
I would then say just fly into Catania. It's the second largest city on the island, and fly out of Catania, because from Catania, we could just take you up a little bit to Taormina. That was one of the places you had mentioned. The town itself is beautiful. It's one of the 2 most popular towns on the island. And you can also make excursions from there. You had mentioned The Godfather movie, Savoca, one of the villages where they filmed for The Godfather, and that's very near to Taormina. And it's also from Taormina, you can make a day trip to Mount Etna, that big volcano. And there's some other nice places that you can, but yeah, if you can only get a small little sneak peek of what Sicily has to offer, I would fly into and out of Catania. But yeah, we do have a habit of just like, we want to get there and kind of jump and see a little of this and a little of that. I understand it. But when people do a little bit of homework and they just realize how beautiful a place is not too far from, let's say like Taormina right now. We just said, okay, you want to get in and out at Taormina, you're going to bounce in and out. But not too far from Taormina, you have like Cefalu, which is an absolutely beautiful and romantic town, right? So when you're cutting yourself short with just a few days, it's like you got this other place that you shouldn't miss, regardless where in the world you are, and we're not visiting it, you know. So
So we talked about this last week about the types of beaches that you see in the Mediterranean. I explained that a lot of them are rocky beaches. They can still be beautiful, clear blue, like you were talking about with the island of Milos. Um, but with Sicily, what would you say should people expect for a beach?
so from so I had said about Trapani, starting off there and making a day trip to the Egadi Islands. Those ones are rocky, not sandy, but with very clear, beautiful water. Um, the prettiest water of it all is probably near Cefalu, which is the northern part. It's
Hmm.
just east of Palermo, its capital. And then also near Taormina. The beaches over there are really pretty. So to have the two prettiest towns in my mind, Taormina and Cefalu, also near to the prettiest beaches, you can't go wrong. And that's unsurprisingly two of the reasons why those are the most visited places on the entire island.
Right. And
Yeah.
I think what Sicily is really most thought of by is about the mob, and that this is where there's a lot of danger. What would you say about safety there?
Yeah, I had talked to a lot of people about that. A lot of locals I'm going to talk to. I want to hear their thoughts.
Hmm.
They all laugh. I mean, these things that are talked about are things of several generations ago. I mean, where somebody kind of knocks on the local shop's door and says, you know, my name's Francesco, and he's wearing like a gold chain with all these chest hairs hanging out, and he's got like some overweight buddy next to him with like a baseball bat. You know, no. I mean, all of that is completely gone. I mean, if there is corruption or something, you know, in politics, we never know. I mean, everybody kind of speculates in every country. But in terms of just people showing up to your door or something like that, I mean, it's all completely gone. There's none of that. Even the wages in Sicily are much more comparable to what you find elsewhere. Um,
Hmm.
Tourism has kicked in a lot over there, and they're making a lot of money. They're making a killing over there.
Yeah,
So
especially
those
now.
days, yeah. So these days of where the South was really poor and all this kind of stuff, it's I mean, of course, the doctor in Milan is going to be making more money than the doctor in Palermo. But I mean, there's plenty of opportunities for people to make money, and if they know what they're doing, they're making that money. So these desperate times and the mafia and all this kind of stuff, it's to be watched on a movie because you're not going to see it in person.
Right, exactly. And I think it's just the same with America. You know, we are projected as this gun-loving, country. It's not really reality. I mean, we there's some reality to it, but it is exaggerated. Um, so what about people who do just have one port day there from a cruise? Is there just any one day thing they can do?
Yeah, but the port, they dock where? In Palermo? Are they docking in Catania? Are they docking
Either
in?
of those. Yeah, because they're smaller ships usually.
Yeah. I mean, Palermo itself is it's a big city, and if they just have time that day, then they can see Palermo. Or if the boat doesn't leave until late that night or doesn't leave until the following morning, I would strongly recommend that they take a 1 hour drive over to Cefalu, the most romantic town on the island. That's what I would do on that side. And if they're coming into Catania, I would take the car up to Taormina and visit in and around there.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, that's kind of how it, when people do have the time, though, what I basically recommend is from Trapani, you do Egadi Islands. And then from Trapani, what I recommend people is to go down to Agrigento. That's now the very south of Sicily. And you'll still find in some of the villages near to there, people speak Greek until this very day. It's different from the Greek that I speak, because I'm also half Greek. But it's interesting because they've got a beautiful Greek temple over there that's best visited at night. So there's that whole side of it. Almost every corner, I have been every corner of the island and everything in between. Pretty much every corner of the island has something really important to see.
Yeah, you could, in just about any destination, you can really delve into the culture the longer you stay somewhere. I think that a lot of my clients just want a quick 2 to 3 nights
Mhm.
usually. And it's just a completely different thing when you stay longer, and you really get to understand the culture and the history of the area.
And of course, if they don't have the time, they don't have the time. Or if they're on a cruise and they're on a schedule, then they make the most of it. So yeah, I mean, either side, Palermo or Catania, you've got plenty of places to go and see. Palermo itself, it's best appreciated in the evening. I always tell people, don't let your first impression of Palermo, and Catania for that matter, to disappoint you. Once you kind of get through the outskirts of the city, which is a little bit dirty, and you see some things over there you just don't see elsewhere on the island. When you're in Palermo, for example, you'll start seeing people now, like 3 people on a motorcycle. You just don't find that in Taormina. You don't find that elsewhere. It's just a very much Palermo thing. So you kind of like, okay, where the heck am I? But once you kind of get through the outskirts and you get into the center of the city, it is really pretty. They've beautified the buildings a lot. I'm really impressed with the efforts that they've made. Pretty much all of the south, I mean, from Naples all the way down, just even 10 years ago, I mean, they put a lot of money and time and effort into cleaning up their towns and cities. And in the night especially, it's very lively. I mean, there's music, there's restaurants out on the streets, there's people dancing, this, that. I mean, it's the whole 9 yards. So a place like Palermo, people will like it enough in the daytime, but they'll really enjoy it in the evening. So if you just have one night in Palermo because you've docked there, I would say in the daytime, head to Cefalù, spend your day there. In the evening, let's say 6 o'clock or so, head back to Palermo, enjoy the buzzing life that the city has to offer once the sun sets.
And I'm all about food. So, how is Sicilian food different from the rest of Italian food?
Lose weight, don't go. I can just tell you right now. Um, it's the food is good, but they have done stuff over there that I have not seen anywhere on this planet. I mean, I'm not just talking about the cannolis and these other dishes that we Americans know. Some of the stuff I looked at and I just said, I don't even know how they came up with this idea. So they've got like this bun, and they will take ice cream and they will fry the ice cream, and somehow it doesn't melt. And then they take it out of this fry thing. And then what they do is they will take all kinds of chocolate syrup and other syrup on top of it, and they just eat it like that. So it's yeah,
They eat it with their hands like that?
yeah. They just bury their face right into it. Um, yeah, and I mean it is a very bread heavy cuisine. The pizzas and pastas and things like that. If you go closer to Catania, their local delicacy is horse. They like eating horse over there, and they make it many different ways. They make it with pistachio. They make it all. I tried it. I'll be honest, it's not really for me. But talk to anybody over there; they're so proud about the horse. Um, and they talk about horse like a 10-year-old talks about ice cream, pretty much. But it's specific to that region. If you go elsewhere in Sicily, you're not going to find too much of it. It's there, the Catania area.
Interesting.
But so
And
for me, I kind of stay away from the ice cream. So what I like eating over there is the veal. I'm kind of a veal guy. So yeah, they'll do like a lot of veal dishes with pistachios. That was kind of my soft spot because it's healthy enough for me, and it's still really tasty, and I'm not feeling guilty of eating all these carbs.
And so it's an island, but it's not terribly difficult to get to, correct? Like you can take a ferry from Naples, can't you?
You could take the ferry from Naples to Palermo, or of course you can take a very quick flight, direct flight, and cheap. There's several airlines that will go from Milan, Rome, Naples, get you just in and out. So, and back in the day, like you had to go through a bigger city in Italy to get to Sicily. In other words, you'd have to fly through Naples, Rome, or Venice, Rome or Milan to get there. Not anymore. So even Greece, I mean, you can fly from Sicily to Santorini. You can fly from Spain straight to Sicily. So that's it. I mean, you want to go to Sicily, you don't have to go to the mainland at all to get there. You get there directly.
And what about water sports? I mean, you're an island. Are there water sports there?
They're also, but they like a lot of hiking and that kind of stuff. So near Tormina, they have this area right over there. The water's colder because you're in kind of like a lake or a gorge, and you'll see people that they go swimming over there and they kind of hike over there. But yeah, I mean, you'll find jet skiing and those other activities like you'd find anywhere else, but they're more into the hikes over there and to swimming, of course.
And so what you had mentioned the pistachios. Do they grow pistachios on the island?
Yeah, they do, and they're absolutely delicious. I picked out on pistachios every single day. Yeah,
Because I
yeah.
know, I mean, that's one of the problems with eating on islands is they have to bring in food from elsewhere. When we were in French Polynesian recently, the they brought the beef from New Zealand. So like it's very difficult to have like local foods. And is that why they serve horse because they don't really have other meats there?
No, they do. They make all their own stuff. Their agriculture is great. So the fruits that you're having, the peaches, for example, just like you barely taste it, and it's soft and just juicy. Watermelons, all of that. Um, no, they're growing their own stuff, the veal and everything. So, I mean, I don't know if they don't get anything from the north of Italy, but almost everything they need, they have it there themselves.
Are there olives there? So, like, do they make olive oil on
Oh
the
yeah,
island? Mm.
yeah, yeah. Of course, yeah, yeah. The olive oil is really good. They don't have the truffle oil. The truffle oil is from the north of Italy. So sometimes you have the pizzas with like the dark truffle or the light truffle. They're getting that stuff closer to the north, but the olive oil that's homegrown.
And what about wines? Is there a wine region?
Yeah, but they're not as popular, obviously, as Tuscany. So they do make their own wines, and I've tried them. They're pretty good. But obviously, the name brands that the whole world knows of are in Tuscany. But yeah, you'll still have really good wines out in Sicily. And you pass by a lot of vineyards as you're going from one must visit destination to the next.
So let's just take a moment again to introduce what we're doing here. I'm Lainey Melnick with Dream Vacations, Lainey Melnick and Associates from Austin, Texas. My behind the scenes helper is Alex Horn, my general manager. And we are doing Travel Talk Tuesday, which we're doing every Tuesday, except when we're out of town, which will be in 2 weeks. And we're giving two giveaways. So if you scan the QR code up on the corner, you can enter to win my quarterly sweepstakes, which is this quarter an Azamara luxury cruise. And they do have an like a country intensive Italy cruise. They have a country intensive Greek cruise. So Azamara has some interesting options for you. But we're also going to be giving away $50 towards any Charlie the Traveler tour that you book through me. or my agency, Lainey Melnick and Associates. So to do that, just in the comment section, just do a hashtag Travel Talk Tuesday, and we will do a drawing at the end of the show. So we do have to decide what we're going to talk about next week too. I don't know. Should we wait until later to decide?
Yeah, we can wait a little bit on that one. Um, I don't know how much more time you have if we've run out of time, but there's still some good stuff to talk about depending on how much
Yeah,
time you
no, we
got.
have more. I just wanted to make sure we got to all the new viewers with the information. But Charlie, why don't you tell them what you do?
Tour operator. So we provide the escort drivers, these English-speaking licensed guides, and they will take you around the entire island, covering all the highlights. Um, you don't really have to worry about the buses and the trains and renting your own cars and all of that. It's pretty much handed to you on a silver platter. You just show up to the island. We provide you with an itinerary letter, and it will just tell you every day, please be in the lobby at this time, bring this, this, and that. We take you to A, B, and C. We stop for lunch at 12 o'clock. We get you back to the hotel at 6 o'clock. Um, like that. We kind of take the stress out of it. So you spend all your time just enjoying and experiencing what the island has to offer rather than stressing out about how to get around and how to figure things out. You kind of turn your brain off for 7 to 14 days and you let us take care of it all for you.
So Charlie and I are partners, colleagues. Um, Travel agents like myself use different suppliers to give our clients what they need for stress-free travel all around the world. So, and Charlie has amazing tours that I love in many different locations. Iceland we've done several times, and Southeast Asia, Bali. There's all sorts of fabulous tours. So, so he's just one of the tour operators I use. There's many ways to see Italy, many ways to see Sicily, but his offering is really unique, and I encourage y'all to take a look at them, or ask me to run down the differences for you. Um, anyway, getting back to Sicily,
And,
what else is there to tell us about?
and I mean, there's hundreds of people that you could be working with on Sicily, and the fact that you've chosen me, it's very appreciated, Lainey.
Oh, of course. We've worked together for, like, I want to say decades, but I don't know if it's been decades.
Well, we've done a lot of business, so that's probably why it feels like it's been that long. Um, but yeah, what I tell people is just Palermo down to Agrigento, see the valleys there. We didn't mention Syracuse, and it's the same name as Syracuse, New York. They got it from Syracuse, Sicily. Locals call it the Ortigia because the historic center of the city is called Ortigia, but the general area is called Syracuse. That is one of the prettiest towns as well. So I'd probably put Cefalù as number one, Taormina as number two, and Syracuse as number three. It's a close three, though. It really is a beautiful place. And one day you could spend just visiting the highlights. It's got a lot of landmarks and that sort of thing. And the next morning, before you go to the next place, you could take a boat ride. They've got these canals, and you'll leave the canals, you get out into the waters, and they've got these bays. And you kind of go into these coves and bays, get into these like caves, and really it's beautiful. I mean, the colors inside there, the waters, the whole thing. It makes it a very unique place. It's also good for swimming, obviously. So the boat ride will take you to these places, show you these beautiful formations, show you the caves, make stops so you can go swimming. Then you get back into town, and you're in a beautiful town. So it's always nice to be able to do both in one day.
Sounds fabulous.
Yeah. And just when you're in Syracuse, also Noto, N-O-T-O, it's only about 20 minutes from there. I recommend people go there for a couple of hours. It's a very small place, but it's also got some beautiful architecture. And then just from Syracuse, you make your way up north to Catania. Catania, we had talked about. The nightlife over there is really good. I can tell you. It is a
Oh, do you mean
fun,
like
fun.
bars, or what kind of nightlife?
just out on the streets. I mean, not to go inside a specific bar or club. It's just walking around. I mean, there's life in the night. So, any street, the squares, everywhere, it's buzzing with people. You're not going to get bored over there. There's always stuff going on. I actually, I have a video of. This was funny. I'm sidetracking here, but it was a one-way street, and three people are going this way. The other three people are going the other way, and they both have this look like, you looking at me? What's wrong with you? And they had the exact same look on each other's face, like, are you stupid or what? Until now, I can't figure out who was in the wrong, but that could have been in a movie. I actually have filming of that thing. And I mean, I was trying not to laugh because they saw me and I was filming this thing. The last thing you want to do is get a Sicilian style slap across my face for filming them. But, like watching this thing was, and then, yeah, that was a funny moment. But yeah, Catania was a lot of fun. And only 20 minutes from there, they have more of these rock formations, and one of these two rock formations, again, the water is so clear. One of them has a castle on top of it, and unlike all these other places I've talked about in our video here, not too many people go over there. I have no idea why. They're really beautiful places. They're great for swimming, I can't say they're completely off the beaten path, but they're not crowded at all.
It sounds fabulous, and it is. I think that people really don't understand all there is to Sicily. They know the highlights, one cliff with the Four Seasons and the ocean, where the woman was killed and thrown overboard in the movie. But there's so much to Sicily, and it's not a small island. It's pretty large. Like, how
Really
long would
large.
you say it takes to get from one end to the other?
I haven't done it in one straight shot because there's almost always really important places to visit en route. So, I mean, if you go from side to side, you're talking maybe like Trapani, which is on the far west, to Messina, which is on the far east. I mean, in between, you've got Palermo, you've got Cefalu, So, I mean, I could Google it, but, every couple of hours, you're going to find something that's really worth your time and effort.
Okay, so what do you want to tell us a little bit about a price range for your tours of Sicily?
Sure. Let me see what we got here. For the grand tour, it's 12 days, and per person with 5-star hotels, it's $52.74 USD per person. So sometimes people want to save a little bit money and they would go with simpler hotels. The company that I founded doesn't work so much with those because we don't want to get blamed if the air conditioning's not working or something like that.
Right.
That's why we use predominantly 5-star hotels. But pretty much, yeah. With that includes all the entry fees, the private vehicles, the tour guide. You have your own concierge while you're on the tour. If you need anything, somebody's always at your disposal there. It also includes all the water transportation because we're taking you to the Egadi Islands as a boat day trip from Trapani. And we're also taking you to the Aeolian Islands closer to Taormina. Those are volcanic islands, and that tour goes on late at night because we wait till it's pitch black, and then you'll see the volcano erupting, and you got this just red stuff spitting out right in front of you while you're on a boat. So all these boat rides, all the land transportation, it's all included in this price, and it includes also the breakfast at these 5-star hotels that we use.
So that was something I wanted to bring up, is that it is not an all-inclusive tour. So you're not including every breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but you do have breakfast at the hotel. And do you have some meals along the way that are special meals?
There's 2 lunches that are included. on specifically on those boat day trips to the Aeolian Islands and the Egadi Islands. And there's also one dinner that's included because we take you to a local's home in Palermo, and they will teach you how to make some local Sicilian dishes. And then after they've taught you how to cook the food, it's cooked, you eat dinner together.
I love those tours. That's like my favorite thing to do, especially in Italy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Every these little things I put in there to make us even that much more different than others. But yeah, I mean, being taken to a local family's home and being invited in and just kind of interacting with them and seeing what they're talking about and thinking about and what they're eating, you're not going to forget that.
No, I think the whole experience, you're going to remember the feeling. You don't remember, necessarily going to the highlight, but you remember feeling fabulous there and how amazing it was.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. And I've been there many, many times, and I would love to go back many more. There's certain places in the world that you go to, you've gone once, and you enjoyed going there, but it's good for one lifetime. People who go to Sicily, they don't feel that. They go and they always like going back for more, just because of the this ambiance that it oozes. It's cool. I mean, that's really what it is. The people are cool. I mean, you feel like you're in a good spot. So it's.
And that's a lot of people use cruises that way. That they, with a cruise, maybe you go to 7 ports in a cruise, and it's like trying out, tasting the area a little bit. And then they find one that they loved and they go back and do a land vacation. So definitely I would think Sicily is perfect for that. Sorry,
Yeah, I can. Yeah, yeah. No, I could respect when people say, I don't know if I'm going to like this or that, and they kind of just want to sample everything like you're describing right now, and they end up liking the place and say, I really got to come back and see this place, right? But yeah, once you're convinced that Sicily is a good spot for you to spend your vacation, yeah, there's a long list of places that we know that you'll love.
So Natalie, I wanted to answer your question about whether there are set days to go on the tours. And this is how Charlie sets himself apart from other tour operators. There are not set days. You choose your custom day that you would like to start, and his itinerary follows a certain course that he's told you up front, not necessarily in the order that it was shown to you, but he will hit every highlight that you ask for, starting at your custom date. So that's one of the things he does differently than other tour operators, where they have set dates, and sometimes they even cancel the date if they don't have enough people. That doesn't happen with Charlie.
Yeah, that was, yeah, that helped us a lot when some of these big companies started sending us a lot of business. We would get so many bookings from other companies that had canceled on them for that very reason that you just described.
Right.
They didn't have enough turnout, and they weren't sending me 12 people all the time. It was often just 2 people. And a lot of these other companies didn't know what to do with these 2 people. And we'd say, bring them to us. We'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. And I mean, we've had situations, and please don't do this, okay? But I mean, I've literally gotten phone calls from less extreme example. Somebody called me and said, we really like your tour. We want to go on it. I said, well, thank you for the nice words. So when would you guys like to start? Well, we're actually on our way to the airport right now. Our family of 5 should be there in about 8 hours. Stupid me says yes to them when I should probably say no sometimes.
I think we both have that problem.
Yeah, I've gained a lot of weight that way, because you'd never say no to nobody type of thing. And I think that's how some of these companies found us, because just we're the yes ma'am type of people. But I thought that was the most extreme one until I got a phone call from somebody else that said, we really love your tour. We want to do your tour. I said, okay, well, thank you. When would you like to start? We're at the airport. We're actually here. So Um, that one took the cake when they didn't even. I never spoke to these people in my life. They never had emailed us. Nothing. It was literally, we're at the airport. Just please come get us and make all our problems go away. And
I
don't
don't
tell.
even understand that.
And because it was the guy who was talking to me, and he was kind of like, don't tell my wife what happened. Okay, no worries.
Oh my gosh. He probably thought he had been booked on something else. But this is why you need a travel agent, because we would make sure that you are actually booked on a tour and have it all set. But the I have the same problem. I have people quite often who think that they can leave the state that they're calling. And I can't say no. I try to do whatever I can for people, but I'm telling you that you can get such a better experience when you plan a little. So give us some time to plan everything correctly. And the more you can give us, the better. But I have done 3 days for some cruises, some really kind of custom things. But the more custom it is, the more time we need. So please give us time.
Hmm. And that itinerary letter, I think, is also a big part of it.
Hmm.
Um, our letters are very detailed, and they're different from what other companies give. I mean, a lot of these companies just kind of have these columns, and they'll just give you a time and just pick up from here, that sort of thing. I kind of came up with my own format for this, and it doesn't really have so much of the bells and whistles of talking about how beautiful this attraction is or whatever. It's more specific of like, please be in the lobby at this time, bring this and that. We're taking you here, here, and here. And we like doing this because we want to kind of paint the scenario for our customers. So if there may be a problem with something, we want to catch it beforehand. I mean, what's the example of a problem? So let's say we plan lunch to be at 12:30 or 1 o'clock. Um, we may have a customer that needs to take medication and food at certain times. So
Mm.
as he's reading that before, he says, wait a minute, actually, I need to eat at 11 o'clock because I have this medication I have to take, or, you know what, this is my vacation, but I do need to make an important business call. Where are we going to be around 3:30 p.m.? Because I really have to take that call. So it'll kind of tell you all this stuff. So if we're in the middle of the mountains, you're not going to have any reception. So we really try to lay it all out beforehand so people have a very clear idea as to what we're doing. And if they need us to make any adjustments to accommodate their specific needs, dietary or work or other, then we prepare that well beforehand, and we don't just get popped with something on the spot.
And
All
my
these little things we try to do.
And my agency takes those letters and creates an online itinerary for you with every day outlined with instructions of every day you need, what you need to do. You can read it offline, so you don't need internet to read it. That's how we catch a lot of issues. So if somebody's flying in out, I don't know, 9 a.m., but their transfer wasn't set until 10 a.m., that's how we realize, oh, they need to get that changed. So we try to do that 30 to 90 days before your trip so that you're all set. Sometimes you'll get instructions up to a week uh, or the day you're leaving, even if you have air changes. So it's great to have those itineraries, which are constantly updated with all of the air changes and cancellations these days. So.
Yeah, I mean, we want to surprise people with the beauty of these attractions that we're taking them to, but we don't want to be surprising them with times and all this other kind of stuff. So we like to lay it out for them as much as possible. So we're giving them exactly what they want, even when we're recommending hotels. I'm sorry, when we're recommending restaurants. A lot of
Yeah.
times they're going to want to look up the restaurants before and say, hey, you know what? No, this one does look like exactly what my wife likes or whatever. Or sometimes they may say, you know what? We needed something a little bit more simple or fancy or whatever. But yeah, we like to put it all out there. So the only surprises we're giving people are pleasant ones.
And I do have a lot of people these days who have dietary restrictions. Um, how would you say Italy handles somebody gluten free? That's a tough one for them.
I'm not a good liar. If we're
I
talking
want
about
truth.
Greece, if we're talking about Greece, I'd say don't worry about it. Sicily is hard. Italy generally, and especially Sicily, it's hard for that one. I also can't eat a lot of bread, yeast, generally speaking, because I take a medication. And if I eat a lot of yeast with this medication, I retain a lot of water in my stomach. It was hard for me, and that's why I just really focused in on the veal.
How are they with vegetarians?
Uh, I mean, it's a little bit easier, but I mean, if you're vegetarian and you could do the yeast, you're going to be just fine.
Right.
So,
That's exactly right. Pasta
yeah,
or
yeah,
pizza.
yeah. I mean, oh yeah. If you're okay with pasta and you want delicious types of pasta, I mean, they have amazing pastas. But yeah, if you need to avoid the breads and the yeast and all that kind of stuff, it is hard to do it over there.
So we're just about winding down, but I don't know if anybody wrote our hashtag Travel Talk Tuesday in the comments for our giveaway. Um, I don't even see our giveaway screen anymore. So instead of that, since I don't think anybody wrote the Travel Talk Tuesday, just hit my QR code and apply for the sweepstakes for this quarter. And that way you will be entered to win the Azamara luxury cruise. Hopefully you'll win.
Well, if nobody
Okay.
already took it, can I take it myself?
You want the $50 off your own trip tour? I will definitely give you that.
Thank you, lady. You know,
So, what are we going to talk about next week? We did Greece,
which
we did Sicily.
what would you like to talk about? Which country?
Um, hmm,
Iceland? You want to do
I was going
Iceland?
to say Iceland because I think that's what I've booked the most with you.
Hmm.
So
We
why
can
don't
do Iceland.
we do Iceland? Although it's not a great time of year to talk Iceland because it's getting cold, but I think that's okay. We can do that.
With Iceland, I know we're going off the topic a little bit, but
Yeah.
Iceland, we sell almost as much in the winter season as we do in the summer. The
Hmm.
Northern Lights are so
Well,
popular over
right.
there that they're willing to endure the cold to see it. You're not going to see it in June or July, or even the beginning of
Right.
August. You start seeing it toward the end of August, and
And
it'll go all the way
I
to
went
the
there
winter.
for New Year's Eve, and Iceland is the most amazing country to be in for New Year's Eve. So definitely, it was freezing, but it was fabulous. But we'll talk more about that next week, though.
Very cool.
I think
Thank you, lady.
Natalie said Iceland would be amazing. Good. Glad to have the encouragement. So I hope you guys all were very patient with us. We had a rough start last week with our first episode, but I think we've got it down now, right? Isn't this way better? I think
This
we're
is
doing really
way,
well.
yeah, yeah. Last week was a little bit of a tech, technical malfunction, we'll call it.
Yes. Okay, so do you have any last words that you'd like to say before we end?
uh, well, other than thank you, that's the first one that comes to my mind, lady. You've always been good to me.
Well, you're always good to my clients, which is number one for me. So thank you.
If you want to take your girlfriend somewhere romantic, Sicily's a good spot to do it. She'll,
Or your boyfriend.
or your boyfriend, he or she will fall in love with you twice.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on Travel Talk Tuesday again. Next week, join us at the same time, same place for our discussion of Iceland. And then the next week, we are going to take a 1 week break because I'll be out of town. But I don't know. Then we'll talk next week about what we'll do with the following week.
We'll figure it
Don't
out.
forget to scan my QR code and enter to win the sweepstakes for the Azamar cruise. Thank you guys all for joining us. I really appreciate you all.
Thank you, lady.
All right, signing off.
Okay, bye bye.